So I just did a little workout, and the concept today is to train the back in the two different positions that you're going to see in every movement in life. So the idea behind the back muscles, they need to be able to fire within the positions and postures that you need for exercise or movement or sport. So a lot of times when you just start doing bent over rows for the sake of training the lats, one, we're probably not even hitting the lat, because a lot of times when we do rows, pull-ups, rowing over the bar, horizontal rowing, you'll see that it's all in my neck. But two, when we start to isolate, and if you have that where you can actually engage the lat every single pull, that's okay as well. You're at least targeting the lat, getting that to become stronger. But now what's most important is the application. So when you're doing lat work, what's the focus? Are you trying to improve your deadlift or swimming? Or are you trying to improve it for CrossFit, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, you name it, just overall postural health? So what we focus on is the application. And instead of trying to master every single exercise, every single sport movement, your mechanics of the body is the same. So all you have to think about is, are you going to be in more of a arch extended position or a rounded position? And you'll see it play out in every movement. So if I'm deadlifting, I want to be in this rounded upper back position. But again, we're all about the mechanics, which is muscle tension. We don't want to just round like that where it's in the spine in the joint. The idea is we want to be able to round off of a set platform, off of a set core, the obliques, the lats, the pec, and then you get into a position where you're able to find tension in the position or posture that you need. So again, for deadlifting, I'm going to be here where my upper back is rounded, but all the muscles are on. So if you carry things in life, grab a case of water at Costco, you're going to be in this rounded position. But if you're going for things like cycling, you're going to be in a rounded position, right? When you're on a bike, if you're swimming, right? You're not going to deadlift here. I hope not. You're not going to ride a bike here. You're not going to run like this. You're not going to swim like this. So you do have to understand that your posture plays a big role in how the back muscles work and also what you're trying to apply it to. So the idea is you're going to see a lot of the movements that you do. It's either rounded, again, swimming, kipping, whatever you guys are doing in life or your sport, throwing, your upper back will be rounded. Now, the other side of it, when you arch, think about anything Olympic lifting, right? You're gonna arch into that front rack. You're gonna keep that good arch when you press overhead for that snatch. When you bench press, you're arching. So those are gym movements. But what about regular life movements? So when I'm throwing my 3-year-old up, I'm gonna be arched up. Putting something heavy over the shelf, I'm gonna be arched up. So I have to get into this position. When you lift something really heavy in life, it's gonna force you to arch to counterbalance. So just like this rounded deadlift position, we wanna anticipate it. We don't want the weight of like carrying something heavy to pull us in this bad position where it's all in our joints. We anticipate it, get into the position we need anyways, that we're gonna get into, tighten everything down, and then lift. Same with pressing. Have you ever done a strict heavy press or lifted something heavy overhead? It's gonna force you to arch. But what we're doing is we're making sure we're bracing, using the lats, using the pec, the core. And then when you brace, you're leaning against all these muscles, set foundation, even your legs and your glutes, everything is on to help you lift. Same thing with the pull-up. You're gonna be in an arch position, right? So you have to figure out, or if you guys are, in more sports like jiu-jitsu, wrestling, where you have to throw or bridge, right? So the application is endless. You'll either find your torso, your upper back, in an arch position or a rounded position. So then now it makes training a lot easier if you just kind of reinforce the postures where I'm rounded, so that can help me run, sprint, or if you guys are extended, you just reinforce those postures, and then I'll help you for every movement that posture applies to. So today I was working on doing a couple exercises, which I'll tag in at the end of the video. So I was working on the two postures, my 3 exercises. I was getting into the position where my upper back was rounded first, and then the idea was to do everything in this posture to reinforce it. All right, so the first one was pulling the band down, where I'm rounding the upper back, but getting strong in this posture. So what I'm not doing is rounding like a cat and I feel it in the spine. I was pulling through the pec, the lat, keeping the core tight. And then right after that, I was rowing, pulling in this position, which you'll see exactly when we do use the row machine, things like that. You're gonna be in this posture, but now I'm trying to reinforce it. So I don't get to the point where if I need to engage muscles or that pull, I'm shrugged up, which is very common. So right here, if I'm shrugged up, lats off, it's all on the neck. So a lot of people row, swim, right? Fight. This is on, this is not. So I'm reinforcing that. And then the last bit was when I'm hinged over, I was doing curls in this position, making sure that my lat and my pec is supporting that. So if I ever lifted something, or for jiu-jitsu, or picking up a plate, moving it, then I'm using all the big muscles. That was my combo. I had 3 sets. The sets and reps are relevant. You're understanding what you're trying to get at when you guys are working out, or what's the intent. Then I started to do the other side of it because I don't want to just reinforce this and get stuck here. I worked on the arch position. So we call it a bench pull-up. I'm opening up that arch. I'm squeezing, making sure that I keep this arch position and squeeze into the lat every rep. So my shoulders don't come forward, which is a very common issue in pull-ups like this. And you could try it out for yourself. Do you feel the tension in your neck, your shoulders protruding? When I do this, if you shrug up, you can't access the lat. Try it. Shrug up, try to find your lat. You can't do it. It's not how the body works. So if you're pulling up on a pull-up this way, you're not really getting the results you're looking for. So the idea was I get into that bench pull-up where I can use my legs to support. I arch up as hard as I can with core tight, glutes tight, and then squeeze, reinforcing this kind of wide posture, chest open, T-spine extension position. Then I did the same bar row, which was rounded first, and then I arched up. And then now I'm working more of this row, which is applicable to, again, the movements, the exercises that allows for this position, or this position allows. So bench press, front rack, strict press. So that's what I'm reinforcing. Then the last part, I had let's see, what did I use? I was going pull up, row, and then the Arnold press. So application is key, right? I like to lift weights. I also need to build upper pec and shoulder. Those are my weak points, and upper pec. So the idea is I was getting into that position where I would hold a good front rack where you need that good T-spine extension. And then for me, because my shoulder is always the issue, I would feel a pain if I'm collapsed in. So I really had to push out, making sure I flare the lat, keeping my core tight. And then I work that Arnold press where I'm loading like I'm catching a clean. I'm lowering the weight for another press or a push press or a thruster, feeling all the weight in the right muscles. So this is how we do the Arnold press, keeping and reinforcing that back, again, in this arch or extension. And then right when I get to here, I'm gonna keep that posture, don't let my shoulders round forward, and then drive all the way through, and then come back. So I'm focusing on the posture, maintaining it through that front rack and the press. So everything that I felt on the pull-ups, the bar row, with this posture, I applied it to something I care about, which is overhead pressing, front racks, and Olympic weightlifting. So you can check out some of the raw clips I'm gonna add to the video at the end, and if you guys have any questions, let me know.